So I'm born and raised in San Juan County. I've lived here 40 of 42 years and grew up hunting, fishing, hiking, all that sort of stuff. And lived just here in Blanding. Like most small town people, you have to do multiple things to survive. So my day job is a school district social worker. Love working with kids. Got a lot of Navajo kids that I work with, a lot of youth kids that I work with, as well as the Anglo population. So very familiar with their culture, their tradition, how much they value the land just like anybody else. And they are 100% against a monument. And there's several reasons for that, and one of them, if you go to Natural Bridges, Natural Monument, you turn off Highway 95 and you head up that road a little ways, then you're going to turn right and you're going to go right up through the Bears Ears, but if you keep going, that takes you to Natural Bridges, National Monument, which is where the three bridges are, the natural bridges. But one of the first signs you get to right there, right underneath says, no wood cutting, no wood gathering. And obviously I burn wood every winter. I cut 2 or 3 cords every year with my son and heat our house that way. But the Native Americans, most of them that live on the reservation, there's no trees down there. Most of them come right up on Elk Ridge, right up on Cedar Mesa, biggest parts here, and they're gathering their wood. They're gathering pinyon nuts. They're gathering medicines and herbs and plants and flowers and whatever for their traditional stuff. So there's not a local Navajo or Ute that wants it. In fact, the president of the Navajo Nation, when he was asked where is the Bears Ears, he didn't even know. So you've got the president down in Window Rock, Arizona, which is 3 hours away, that doesn't even know where the Bears is at, saying, yeah, this is a big part of my people. And the local Navajo's going, yeah, it is a big part of it, and we want to leave it just the way it is. We want full access to everything, including the wood gathering. So that's a big one. I don't think you'll find more people than from San Juan County that want to take care of the area, love the area, whether it's for recreating, hunting, fishing, gathering wood, camping. I got co-workers that have a couple of cattle leases. They've had them in their families for 100 years, and they're not running giant heads of cattle, 200 here, 400 there. There's just nobody that's making, very few are making a living off of that. Most people in small towns have 2 or 3, 4 jobs and do whatever they need to do to survive. As far as the area goes, the area is just huge. I'm sure you've looked at the map and seen, but 1.3 million acres is gigantic. You're going from almost desert. Basically, if you start right here and you follow me and you go around the blue, which initially they wanted it in, but that went from 1.9 to 1.3. They lost all of Blue Mountain right here, so they went around. That
was sage-grouse habitat, right?
Well, it's also the city's watershed, both Monticello and Blanding city watershed, and there's just a lot of things that was like, hey, this can't get in there. So they went around it, and then you're almost clear to Moab. I mean, 1.3 million acres. It's huge. And like I said, it's bigger than Maryland. It's bigger than Rhode Island or several of these states put together. So it's just an enormous amount of land that just a complete abuse of the Antiquities Act, which was the smallest portion possible.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if they could say, hey, we want to do something with this 100 yards right here and this 50 yards right here.
Yeah.
But 1.3 is just insane. So. There is Anasazi dwellings everywhere. In town. I mean, my parents lived 2 blocks up, and I grew up finding arrowheads in my backyard. I mean, there's Anasazi stuff everywhere. There is dwellings out in every canyon, cliff dwellings. They're there. Do they get looted by people that are trying to make a buck here and there? Yeah, but most of surface stuff is gone. It's been collected years and years ago. In fact, I have a coworker that knows more about this than me, but years and years ago, both BYU and U of U were paying for pots. They'd come down and they were paying $1 a pot for studies, for archaeology classes, and then later on they just destroyed everything they had. It was just warehoused and they needed the room, and they just busted them up and chucked them in the dumpster. So there's still stuff out there that's in really good shape and really beautiful. You could get on Google Earth and you can go clicking on every little picture, and somebody's taken a picture of it and put it on Google Earth, and you can look at it, and it's really pretty and it's really wonderful, but the damage just isn't there. Since 1998, my brothers and I and another dozen friends have been guiding deer and elk hunters and mountain lion and bear hunters all throughout the county, all throughout where the monument's at. Collectively, we spend so much time up there. I mean, just so much time for scouting and hunting and all of that. And, you know, besides picking up an occasional trash or, you know, pop can or beer bottle, there's just not damage. Last summer when Mike Lee came down with a bunch of others, they actually had the data of, I think they said in the last 5 years, there's been 5 reports of vandalism for the Forest Service or BLM. Does that justify a monument? 5 acts of vandalism in 5 years? Whereas the S.U.W.A, when that was made a monument, and because of the increase, they went from an extremely low number as well to over 100 reports just the very next year. And we're already seeing it this year. I mean, there's such the media that's out there and the coverage of it, there's been such a surge of people coming this year. Our search and rescue's been called out pointlessly, needlessly, because of I won't say what I want to say, but
I knew what that's like.
Uneducated idiots that are going up a muddy dirt road in their Mercedes trying to find the bear's ears and getting stuck and stranded. So whose tax dollars are paying to go rescue them? And I just soon leave them out there. But yeah, just stuff like that. It's just more and more and more. And so it's just going to... That's just not the type of people that... Blanding is open to tourism, and Blanding is open to great groups of people coming down, but not the type that's just going to do... that doesn't have any common sense, I guess is what I'm saying, and it's just not going to leave things like they found it. So, like I said, 1998 to this year, that's 19 years, and 12 of us... I mean, there was... I would say... There was years where I had 40 nights, you know, in the fall out there, and another 40, 50 days scouting for the game for clients, and you know, there wasn't a lot of people, and there's not any damage. I've never walked up onto a cliff dwelling or a ruin and just going, oh my heck, somebody's completely destroyed this, ever. So I think that there's just so much of this that's just been blown out of proportion. And I was just mentioning today that just in our local county paper, it's called the San Juan Record. You could pick one up at the 7-Eleven or the grocery store. There was a letter to the editor in there from the vice chair of the Northern Shoshone Utah chapter, which I think is based out of Brigham City, Box Elder County. And he's half Navajo, and he must be half Shoshone if he's on the board. But he put a letter in there talking about just what a lie it was that all these tribes were in agreement with it. And he said, I'm a vice chair, there's 7 of us on the council, 1 council member signed that intertribal coalition saying we support it. It never came before our council, we never voted on it, we don't agree with it, we don't want it. You know, did that one get paid off or not? I don't know, but he just said that you know, we are not collectively represented. We do not want it, especially. He did say, you know, we want the access, we want the protection, we want all of that, but it doesn't need to be wrapped up in 1.3 million acres. So, really good article. If you happen to go into the 7-Eleven or grocery store, it's in the paper that just came out yesterday. So we have 3 county commissioners. Rebecca Benally, she's full Navajo. She's one of our county commissioners. Completely against it. Speaks for all the Navajos in the county. I mean, you've probably read it, but every city, county, and elected official in the state's against it. Ute Mountain Ute tribe that's out of Toyac, Colorado. That's Sleeping Ute Mountain right there. But they're represented 10 miles south here. They have a little branch of their reservation. The people there are completely against it. They want full access. Just keep everything the way it is. You know, there's some people that are pushing for the PLI. Me personally, I don't even want the PLI. I think it's unnecessary. So it's the public land initiative, which is the state trying to put the right protections in place, but the 1.3 million acres, I don't know the percentages, but if I had to say off the top of my head, I would say at least 90% of it, because I think there's 100,000 acres or something like that, or over 100,000 acres that's state trust land. But at least 85-90% of it is BLM and Forest Service, already protected, already being managed. Now, are they understaffed? Yes, but it's a huge area, but the damage just isn't there. There's no one in Blanding that wants to become a Moab. Moab goes from 8,000 to 30,000 people overnight. No one here wants that. Do we want visitors? Yes. Do we want good people? Yes. Do we want to have 30,000 people overnight? No, we don't, because we know what it'll do to the land. And all of a sudden, there's going to be thousands in the summer that want to go see it. So yeah, I mean, it will get damaged. There's no question. And that'll probably give him ammunition to say, see, we told you we need to protect it, because now all this is happening. So I think it's backfired. I think the thought of what they were trying to do by protecting this stuff is really just going to expose it to people that don't value it and don't appreciate it. You know, Blanding hasn't really grown in 100 years. We've got 3,500 people here, maybe 1,500 in Monticello. You know, the whole county's maybe 15,000 people scattered out. So, and the growth just isn't there. It's got a new hospital that's brought some growth, or at least some new jobs, but. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know if there's any questions. I didn't necessarily come prepared to speak. Thank you for the opportunity.